Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to our afternoon closing session. We've been having some fun over in the chat. I hope we haven't been blowing up your screen too much. You can tell I said we're getting a little bit loopy here in the end of the day. So this is our closing session, and we've been together for a while. We appreciate you guys being here. We've had a lot of fun today. We're going to have a lot more fun here in the closing session. We have a great speaker who's going to be coming up in just a few minutes. But before we get to that, we do have some other things that we want to do and some folks we want to celebrate this afternoon. And so I am going to actually turn this over to our SACSAA president-elect, Heather Moss, who is from Jefferson County Public Schools, the State Agency Children's School Administrators Association. Elected Heather as the president-elect 2 years ago, and she'll be transitioning into the president position in just about the next month or so. So we're really excited to have Heather with us today, who is going to present some SACSAA awards to some outstanding folks who work with our students all across Kentucky, as well as a special student award winner as well. So Heather Moss, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Ronnie, I didn't know about that transitioning in a month thing. And
You'll
I'm
be ready to go, don't worry.
So I see Joel over there. So we're excited that everyone's here. This is always an exciting part to celebrate and our staff. So each year, KAES sends out requests for the Student of the Year nominations. So we're going to start with our student one. We always hear amazing stories of our students overcoming personal and educational obstacles to become successful students and thriving young adults in society. The award they receive is a $500 scholarship to help reach their goals in post-secondary education, with the hope that their journey is made just a little easier. Their accomplishments and recognition also serve as a message to other students in their situation that success is possible for you, and education is essential to that success. All the nominees were evaluated and decided by the KAES Interagency Advisory Group. And I am pleased to present the 2022 Nellie Lou Cole KAES Outstanding Student of the Year Award to one of our own JCPS State Agency Program students, Miss Claudia Henson. Claudia is from Scottsville, Kentucky. She was a student at Home of the Innocents this past semester. She has faced many challenges in her life, being in foster care, and had to learn to overcome adversity to improve her mental health, social skills, and behavior. However, Claudia is determined to learn and grow from her adversity and is committed to becoming an animal-assisted therapist. To that end, she plans to attend Murray State University in the fall to pursue her education. To learn a little more about Claudia and her story, we want to show you a video that she has recorded to accept this award. We don't have the volume.
Can you hear that okay?
No. Oh.
Okay.
First, like to take the chance to thank everyone for this opportunity to win this award. I am 17 years old and I live in Scottsville, Kentucky. I will be going to WKU in the fall, and I plan to be living on campus in a dorm. I will be majoring in psychological sciences. I'm really excited to be going to WKU. Although it has taken a lot of strength and motivation to get myself to where I am today. I have had to overcome many different obstacles along the way, such as being in and out of the foster care system since I was born. This has caused me to be separated from my siblings throughout my life. And although they hold a huge part in my heart, I'm still unable to see them. The trauma I have endured throughout my life has caused me to have to battle anxiety and depression. These two things specifically have tried to keep me from reaching my goals of being happy and successful. However, I have overcome these obstacles and persevered. I am now very well pleased to say that I am well past these issues that my childhood has caused. So now I can move forward with achieving my goals. I have many different goals instilled in my life. One of my main goals is just to make sure that I am happy and successful. However, I do have some educational goals, such as going to WKU for 4 years and getting a counseling degree. And then after that, I plan to go to Owensboro for 2 years to get a vet tech degree. And then after that, I will proceed to become an animal assisted therapist, where then I will proceed to get my own farm and my own animals. And I will start as a small business, and eventually I want to work myself up to being able to have residential guests to come to my farm and be able to work with the animals and work through their trauma and their childhood issues. And it's like a way for me to be able to give back, because I know what it's like to be in that situation. And so with that, I would like to thank all of you guys for this opportunity to achieve my goals. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you guys have a good day.
So that is a great example of why we do what we do. And so we wish Claudia the best of luck in her future education endeavors. So hopefully we can follow up and find out how she's doing. Maybe we can get her to work in some of the schools too, Miranda. So also at KAES, we have wonderful administrators and teachers and support staff and community members who truly make a difference in our students' lives. Kids in our programs have not been dealt an easy hand in life, and often by the time we enter their lives, many people have given up on them. But through your hard work, care, and dedication to providing them with exceptional learning opportunities, you are building impactful relationships that are creating a better future for our students. Our 2022 SACSAA Award winners truly embody the characteristics of exemplary educators and advocates for students, and we are honored to recognize their efforts and achievements today. Each year, our interagency advisory group members vote on the nominees who we receive for these awards, and each year we are thrilled to see the breadth of talent we have in our programs across the Commonwealth. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to present the 2022 annual SACSAA Awards to some of the finest educators and providers in Kentucky. The Russell W. Bohannon Outstanding KEXAC Administrator of the Year winner is characterized as providing outstanding leadership and developing innovative educational programming for state agency children. This year's award recipient is D.W. Cruz, who serves as principal and special education teacher at the Life Connection in the LaRue County School District. Mr. Cruz began his education career in 2002, and in 2007, he requested to move to the Life Connection educational program after teaching at the local high school. He then became assistant principal in 2014 and principal in 2018. He is described as a highly motivated, energetic, and dedicated educator who always puts his students first. As the Life Connection has a unique population of students with various disabilities, Mr. Cruz is passionate about preparing them to not only meet education milestones, but to thrive academically and be successful in life after school. With this in mind, he has excelled in fostering relationships over the years with community organizations and businesses to create opportunities for students to learn life skills, career skills, and academic principles. Students take learning field trips and visit and observe many trades and careers in the community. He has also created many projects and learning opportunities at school for the students to learn these practical skills as well, such as gardening, landscaping, raising chickens, and other vocational work. His leadership models high expectations for his colleagues and students, which he achieves by instilling research-based instructional strategies that authentically engage students in their learning, and by providing the tools for students to succeed. His passion to advocate for his students is evident, and his colleagues will attest that Mr. Cruz is more than deserving of recognition for his leadership. Congratulations on your accomplishments, Mr. Cruz. All right, I was trying to see him on here. So congratulations, Mr. Cruz. Thank you for your service to our students. Next, we have the Outstanding Support Staff of the Year. This category honors exemplary state agency program staff members, whether they are assistants or treatment staff who are working to make a difference in the lives of state agency children. This year's award recipient is Shannon Bowles. Shannon is the counselor at Hopkins County Day Treatment in the Hopkins County School District. Ms. Bowles has been a successful and award-winning counselor for more than 20 years in this district, and in 2021 decided to move from Pride Elementary School to the day treatment because she wanted to work with students who needed her services and skills the most. When she moved, she also undertook a momentous task of redecorating the whole school using her own free time, money, and hard work. According to her colleagues, she did all this because she wanted the students to feel like they were at home and felt secure. The ambitious and animated personality she embodies is only part of what makes her such an effective and caring counselor. She is also described as someone who sees the best in the students and who will look past behaviors to have the tough conversations that address what students need most help with. As someone who has a big heart and always sees the best in students, it is easy to understand why she has been chosen for this recognition. Congratulations on your hard work and achievements, Ms. Bowles. I'm doing the sign language wave because all my grandparents are deaf, so that's how you clap in sign language. Thank you, Ms. Bowles. Next, we have the Roy L. Chapman Outstanding Teacher of the, oh my goodness, let me start over. Next, we have the Roy L. Chapman Outstanding Teacher of State Agency Children Award. These recipients demonstrate exceptional performance over a period of time as a teacher, displaying such qualities as innovation, imagination, creativity, and the ability to inspire. This year's award recipient is Ann, and is it Wise or Wees? Wise, thank you, who is special education and mathematics teacher at Boyle County Day Treatment in the Boyle County School District. Ms. Wise has been an educator for 25 years and recently began her tenure at the Day Treatment after spending many years at the local high school. She is passionate about building relationships with her students and is known to give her personal contact information to students and stay in touch with them even after graduation as a mentor for job support and any other matters they need help with. Ms. Wise is also praised for exceptional teaching skills by challenging and encouraging her students to develop and grow academically, no matter their level of ability. Some of the most credible praise for Ms. Wise, however, comes straight from one of her students who said, "You show me that giving my all, I can succeed. You helped me see the great work ethic I have. You helped me see the better side of myself." With endorsements like that from both students and colleagues, there's no question that Ms. Wise is most deserving of this recognition. Congratulations on your achievements and thank you for all you do for our state agency children. And our final award, the Outstanding Community Member of the Year Award, is intended to honor an outstanding person, partner, or organization which has shown exceptional support for state agency children in Kentucky. This year's award recipient is Brandon Barden for his services to DJJ education programs across the state as the administrator for career and technical education teachers in DJJ programs. When he first started in this role, Mr. Barden was dedicated to understanding the unique population of students in DJJ programs and how the CTE offerings are often critical skills for those students to achieve future success. Mr. Barden is praised for his unwavering support of CTE teachers, offering sound advice and leading through encouragement and motivation. Whether it's being available to his educators after hours to answer questions or supporting learning for students, Mr. Barden shows his dedication daily. The praise from his colleagues about his contributions and hard work further illustrate his merit for this recognition. Congratulations to Mr. Brandon Barden. And thank you for all you do for our DJJ programs. So that concludes our awards. And we thank everyone and all the nominees. There are lots of great nominees, and it's always challenging to select, but it's so hopeful and positive, all the great work that's going on in our state agency programs. So in speaking for Justin, and please keep Justin in your thoughts today, and he couldn't be here today, but and I know he emails, like, we're serious when we send all those emails. Anything that you need from us on the SACSAA team, that's what we're there for, to represent you guys. So anytime you need any help or supports, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Thank you, Heather. And congratulations again to all of our award recipients today. Heather is absolutely right. When these awards come in over the course of a year, and our members of our IEG, which are made up of folks from the Kentucky Department of Juvenile Justice, the Department of Education, Community-Based Services, Behavioral Health, Developmental and Intellectual Disabilities, as well as superintendent representatives and representatives from your association, our School Administrators Association. When we see those, we're just blown away every single year by the quality of applicants and nominees who have been submitted for these awards. We really appreciate all that you have all done, and we look forward to a continued work with you on behalf of state agency children in the years coming. So thank you again. We appreciate all that you've done. As Heather said, Justin Hubbard, who is currently the president of SACSAA, couldn't be here this afternoon. They've had a family emergency. So as Heather said, we ask that you keep him and his family in your thoughts and prayers today as well. But thank you, all of you, for being here and for celebrating all of the folks who won these awards today. As you see them across the state in your programs and in your districts, and you interact with them, please congratulate them another time when you see them. We have sent them all their actual awards in the mail. So because we're virtual, we can't present those in person, but they've all hopefully received those by now. And we appreciate all that they do and continue to do for our students. All right, so here we are moving into our final closing presentation, and what an honor it is today to have our closing speaker. Joel Katte is our closing speaker, and many of you know Joel. You have worked with Joel for years. We have worked with him for many years in our programs, and we're excited that he's with us here today. Joel has been a staff developer and a speaker since 2013. His Ignite #LoveInSchools professional learning experiences and keynotes instantly catapult school and district cultures to greater levels. Joel inspires educators to maximize their relationships and moments with students and colleagues, families, and community members. He helps educators realize the most important relationship is the one they have with themselves, and then equips them with tools and a renewed commitment for maintaining a healthy work-life harmony. His strategies for helping the best of you land in the heads, hearts, and spirits of those you work with and serve are differentiated for all educators. Whether you're a Ron Clark type or you prefer to do your best work behind the scenes, Joel's use of humor, stories, and reflection are sure to inspire you to be more you. A few years ago, Marshall County Superintendent Trent Lovett described Joel's carrying on through caring on opening day keynote for Marshall County school employees as awesome. Words I needed to hear. Joel's Ignite Loving Schools movement has reached as far as the Lakota Nations Education Conference and the International Conference on Treating and Teaching People of Color. His new book, Finding You at the Zoo, is helping students and staff of all ages redefine their school environments and take ownership in creating and personalizing teaching and learning experiences necessary during these challenging times. We loved his book so much, we ordered it here in the office. Highly recommend it. It's fantastic, easy reading, quick read, and a great book. And he has a new book coming out soon, SACSAA's Destiny, and his Ignite Loving Schools book and workbook that is also coming out soon. Joel's an experienced secondary English teacher, elementary school principal, and district administrator over alternative programs, where we met him several years ago as he worked with our programs in Fayette County. Throughout his career, he has served students of all ages in both urban and rural settings. He served the most at-promise students as well as the most gifted. And currently, he teaches at the SACSAA Academy, a dropout re-engagement program in Lexington, Kentucky, in the Fayette County Public School System. He earned his superintendent's license from the University of Kentucky, master's degrees in educational leadership from Aurora University, and in general pedagogy from Morehead State University. We won't mention how long ago. It is my honor and privilege to welcome today our presenter and our closing speaker, and a dear friend of mine who I love dearly and appreciate so much all of your enthusiasm and work, Joel Katte. Joel, the floor is yours.
Ronnie, I'm giving you an air hug.
I'll take it.
That's quite the introduction, and I'm trying to soak it up because I want to model what we as educators sometimes aren't very good at. People say, oh, you did a great job in that lesson, and you kind of go, oh, thanks. Or you look great today, and people say, oh, this bell, I don't like. So seriously, one of the things I want to model and challenge all of you to do is soak up the love you get and put it somewhere where you can access it later, maybe use it to refuel and focus you when you need it, because not everybody loves you all the time. And I'm sure you figured that out. So thank you. And I'm being serious about being nervous. This is the most nervous I've been because I know so many of you. I see Sherry in there, Charlene, Ben. I mean, so many of you. And I feel like I got to show some of my cards. Like, they're paying me a lot of money to go around the country and within the state to share some of the things that have worked for me and my students and colleagues. And a big part of it is the alternative work. Like, I feel like they're teaching me to make them or like us. So now I'm speaking to you and you're going to be like, I got that. I know that. So seriously, I hope this serves as an affirmation. And like Ronnie said, a push to be even more you. To talk just a little bit about the Be More You, and I'll talk about that book more later. But my father-in-law one day said, Joel, just keep being Joel. And I was like, are you sure? Sometimes I can be a little much. Sometimes, you know, and he said, yeah, in fact, be even more Joel. And I thought, wow, what if we all got that message? What if your administrators said, be you, be the best of you, bring your gifts, bring your passions, your interests, and just bring it and be more you. And what if your students got that message? Instead of always seeing and feeling like I'm not this, I'm not enough of this, I'll never be distinguished, or this happened to me. What if we whittled it down to just the very best of them and said, look at that, be more of that. Claudia, I was going to, maybe talk about this later, but after watching her shine so brightly, I want to just make sure I start there. So there's a book called David and Goliath, written by Malcolm Gladwell. That's my favorite lesson to my students at the Dropout Re-Engagement School. These are 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 364 days. Some of you know our students take every day because they're just not quite ready. So these students, no matter what the age, this is my favorite lesson to deliver. You're not an underdog. You're the favorite. Like, you have endured so much. Like, you are so strong. You've navigated this and learned to bounce back. Like, you're not the underdog. So think of David and Goliath. David walks up to Goliath. If he fights Goliath, Goliath's way, he's going down 10 out of 10 times. But he showed up with a weapon, which he was skilled at, and he fought his way, and he was fine. And I think we need to know that we have to do that when we're up against all that we're up against in schools. Go in with your gifts, go in with your strengths and skills, and teach and lead your way with your gifts. and then help students see that too. So I will get to some specific strategies where I think I'm going to help you dive even deeper and have those moments. But I want us to look at that differently. Like these difficulties, these tough times, this pain that we're experiencing, and believe me, it keeps coming. I saw Justin in his school. I gave a opening day keynote in Graves County last year. And look what happened. Look what's happening in Eastern Kentucky. Look what happens just in our lives with accidents or health issues. Like tough stuff is going to happen. Pain is going to happen. And I think instead of feeling like, oh, there's something wrong with me, or I have to avoid it or cope or numb, whatever, we have to just lean into it and know it's going to make us tougher. That expression, stronger the breeze, the stronger the trees. And look at Claudia. Look at all of you. Your work is not easy. The stronger the breeze, the stronger the trees. Think of those young trees when they're staked. And eventually they take the stake away. The ones that were staked, they snapped first in the storms. The ones that grew up and were never staked and were constantly adapting and being flexible and having to endure the bad storms, they're fine. So our students need to know they're fine. They're more than fine. They have more gifts and they have more things that they can use than they realize. Some of us are the sandwich generation, right? Taking care of our parents and our kids. And you know, some of our students are the sandwich generation. They're holding a family together, taking care of parents and grandparents and younger siblings. And then they show up angry. Yeah, we'd be angry too. All right, I told you I'd get you stretching and get you moving. So I know this is a little weird. I got a space here. I'm imagining you're all here with me. I need to move around. I gave a keynote, opening day keynote for Kentucky Go Digital in my van down by the river, like Matt Foley. No, but I like space, so I'm going to move around, and I hope you feel free to move around with me. I want to get you moving because I know some of you might be coming off of lunch, and this is a very simple thing that I think you can use with your students. And you will also benefit. So I'd like you to stand up. I know it's a little weird. You can turn your camera off if you want, but please join me in standing up. And if you can, grab some water. The W in WOMP is water. And I got WOMMP from Dr. Marsha Parsons. She is a professor at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, and this is all brain-based. But our brains are made up of water and we don't stay hydrated enough. So that's the first goal, drink more water. And I know I was an administrator for 12 years and the hardest thing I had to do is go back and figure out bathrooms. So some of you are like, why would I drink more water? Why would I encourage my kids to drink more water? This is impossible to figure out bathroom situations. Just do it. You want to be hydrated. You want your kids to be hydrated. Now the O is oxygen. So as you stand up, I want you to join me taking some deep belly breaths. Here we go. Deep breaths. A lot of times we just take these little shallow shoulder breaths all day long. I want us to practice taking deep belly breaths. Here we go. Some of you are feeling lightheaded. Don't panic. That's a good thing. That's normal. One more deep breath and really exhale like you're blowing out 80 birthday candles, and they're the trick candles that keep coming back. Here we go. All right, I did that just to exaggerate the importance of pushing out the carbon dioxide. We don't often do that. So if you really want to challenge yourself, think of that scene in Green Mile, and you're just all the black stuff out and all that tough stuff that's happening in your school. Just get it out of there. Now, the M is marching. So I want you to march in place, okay, in a way that feels good. That's why I said warm up your hammies. Hopefully we're not going to pull any. All right, but just march in place. We got to get blood pumping to our bodies. Pumping the blood to our brains helps too. And then cross over and touch something on the other side. This is the second M. It's called a midline march. Crossing over, touching something on the other side of your body, an ear, an elbow, knee. That gets both sides of your brain working together right now. One saying, hey, buddy, where were you? Like, we should get together more often. Look what we can do together. We just don't do it. So teach your kids just a few seconds of midline marching. It just synergizes both sides of the brain. Some of you, all right, I don't know if I have enough insurance. Get off the desk. Some of you are on your desk. I'm worried. All right. Whew. Making me nervous, but I love it. The P is pretzel. So you cross your arms like this, come underneath like this, and cross your legs over as well. And then massage the roof of your mouth with your tongue. Massage the roof of your mouth with your tongue. You should feel the last kind of back parts of your brain light up. Woo, okay? Now you've warmed up every part of your brain, and now just yell onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia. A little louder. Onomatopoeia. Okay, see, kids love novelty. Anything new and different they crave. They're on YouTube watching eggs open up and be like, oh, what's in there? Oh, that's really cool. But honestly, I learned this trick from a substitute teacher at the dropout ring, at the detention center. And they're magic balls. Oh, don't put this on Twitter. I'm playing with my balls, but they're the magic balls. And one of them bounces and one of them doesn't. And so he made a bet that a kid could not bounce the ball and hit the ceiling. And then he just switched, little sleight of hand. He gave him the ball that goes splat. So I need to be more like Oprah and have on my website a few of my favorite things. These are a few of my favorite things. For $15, you will be David Blaine and your kids will never forget you. Honestly, that's what you want, a connection, a moment, an experience. Somebody that says, wow, he went out of my way. Same thing with novelty. Go outside. I come from Wisconsin. I worked in Wisconsin 9 years before I moved to Kentucky. And I had this rule. The first time a kid said, can we go outside with the first nice day? I said, yes, let's go. Come on, everybody, let's go. And they're like, what? Wait, seriously? I was their hero. It didn't take much. Just have a lesson plan ready to go. Okay, now the S, this is where it gets fun. As if that wasn't fun. All right, please trust me. So I hope our numbers aren't going down, Ronnie. I'm watching, but please trust me on this one. This may be the most important thing I can teach you. There's something called traumatic tremoring, right? If you're out in nature and you see something horrific or a car accident, or imagine you're on a reality TV show, okay? You have to eat a plate of your nastiest food imaginable that you would eat. For me, it's clams, right? I have to eat that whole plate of clams for $10,000 and my teammates get $10,000. And if I don't, we get nothing. So I'm gonna eat those clams, but then I'm gonna do this. Like that. What it does is it recalibrates my nervous system. It recalibrates, it gets rid of all that trauma. Why don't we proactively do that? Well, now you can. Here we go. This is called shaking. And if you email me or call me, I'll just sing you these songs that have the perfect beats per minute. So here we go. Do what I do. Trust me. You're going to shake. Here we go. Rock the Casbah, rock the Casbah, shining and lightning. Some of you are doing this. Let it go. Come on. Rock the Casbah, rock the Casbah, shining and lightning. Rock the Casbah, rock the Casbah. Low rider. Da, 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 da. Shake it off. Da, 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 da. Shake it off. Dun, 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 dun. Shake it off. All right, hands up one more time. All right, I feel like you guys need a break. We're gonna stop there. Go ahead and sit down, sit down. Ooh, hopefully you're still with me. Okay, so Ronnie mentioned that I gave the opening day keynote for Marshall County Schools. After what happened there, I spent so much time making sure I had the right words, the right strategies, the right reflections. I thought I nailed this keynote. I thought I nailed it. And I want to be so careful because what they went through was, oh my goodness. And I got back on social media, there was a direct message and it said, you traumatized me when you sang Rock the Casbah. Those are not the lyrics. Here are the lyrics. Please learn the lyrics. And well, obviously, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, something popped up on here. I'm trying to get rid of it. I think it wants to give me a virtual background. But as long as can you guys see me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna ignore it. Obviously, I didn't learn the lyrics, and here we are today. But honestly, 60 seconds of shaking it off in the bathroom. Wait, maybe that was the wrong context. You know how you're taking a few seconds for, Facebook and that? Like, seriously, do something just to take a deep breath, stretch, get your game face on and go. But honestly, I did this early in my career. I still have students messaging me saying they're teaching their kids this, just as parents, because they feel what it does to their brain. All right, let's move. So I didn't show you the E's, but another way is etch-a-sketching. So we all know that etch-a-sketch, okay? And last year, if you're like any of the schools and districts I supported, we all thought the year was gonna get a little bit easier, and it got a lot harder. So imagine like March of 2020 up until now, those years, your life, it's been, whatever's on your etch-a-sketch, go ahead and shake it clear. I think it was Peggy. Was it Peggy? Yeah, she put, every day's a new day. And so if we had more time, if I did my full day training, I would talk about the importance of staying present, right? Because we're so anxious about the future. Our students are so anxious. We're hurt by the past, we're hurt. But there's so much power in staying present. So I'm challenging you all to just etch-a-sketch. Let all that stuff go from your past, your whole career, right? Some of us are trailblazers and tough stuff has happened and we might just be on our heels right now. But you are here and every moment matters. So, all right, let's keep moving. I wanted to put this slide up there. I think you can see it. It's from John Hattie. He says, it's my role to develop positive relationships in class and staff room. Now, relationships often gets thrown on at the end, like rigor, relevance, relationships, and just kind of hope it happens. In fact, Stephen Covey, in his best-selling book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he says relationships falls in the time quadrant of important, but not urgent. He's not wrong, right? That's how we live. They're important, but I gotta do this, I gotta this. Well, in 2015, when I said Ignite, #LoveInSchools, here we go. One of the foundational pieces is that we treat relationships, I'm sorry, my water's there. We treat relationships as if they are urgent, because they are. Look what can happen in a day. Look what happens. There's no guarantee. We have to treat time like it's finite because it is. We can't just say, well, as soon as the school year ends and summer hits, or when I get through my grad classes, or when I retire, it doesn't work that way. We have to get about the business of doing the most important things now with the people we love and care about the most. And this is one of the things that makes our program so special. You have smaller class sizes, you have a little bit more time, a little bit more autonomy. And where do you guys go first? Relationship. So I know I can skip some of this because you guys have this in spades. But today they asked me to challenge you a bit on the relationship you're having with yourself, because we're tough on ourselves. We give to our students, we give to our colleagues, we give to our families at home, and then there might be a few things left for ourselves. And that's not okay. That's not okay. So I'm gonna nudge you. Hopefully I get stuck in your heads and you're driving home or your head hits the pillow and you keep thinking about what you can do. In fact, I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna help you show your ass. Seriously, I want you, Ben, to be the ask man. Seriously, everyone I know has a big ass. And we're all going to send out the Ask 5 this year. We're going to go big and we're going to ask. Yeah, I didn't have the slide up, but it says ask. Where did I put that one? Show your ask, okay? Because so often we just don't ask. And I struggle with this. And one of my students has inspired me to go even bigger. She came to Success Academy, hadn't been in school for 2 years. None of her siblings had been in school for 2 years. Very quiet, very anxious, had some tough stuff happen to their family. And one day, I use a lot of art. I don't know much about art. That's why I love the award winner who just beautified her school. Art heals. In fact, one of my strategies is called Ignite the Artist Way. Bring whatever you can, whether you're a singer, a dancer, drama, the gift of drama, or just, visual, like you like to get finger paint. Art is cathartic. So I just give kids choices, right? You can do some things. And this girl really took to art. And you know that feeling when you're out the door, ready to go into your winter break, and it's like, you made it. Oh my goodness, you made it. Because we all know the toughest stretch, the most stressful stretch in schools is the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's a grind. It's a grind in your own home. And so when you're out the door and you think you're in your winter break, it's so glorious. I literally had my foot out the door and I got a message. Kayla needs art supplies. She said, Mr. Katte, this is going to be a brutal winter break. I can't leave my neighborhood. It's getting tougher and tougher. There's people I don't trust in my own home. I need art supplies. And so I gave her art supplies. I like that. Later, she said, I know I need to get a job. I need to get a job. Can you help me apply? Can you help me schedule the interview? Can you help me prepare for the interview? Can you help me get into this? I'm going to move. I'm going to get into this college. It keeps coming. Last summer, she says, Mr. Katte, I am going to sell my art. Now, I often say, when the Spirit moves you, move on it. So, so often we're like, no, not now. I can't do it. That's not me. I've gotten in the habit of just saying yes. Just be it. Just do it. Just do it. So more and more you do that. 1 out of 10, 1 out of 5, pretty soon you're exactly where you should be. Well, I could feel strongly as could be as I was messaging her after graduation, she's selling art. It said, buy her art. And whatever she sells it for, double it. So I'm waiting for that price to come. She asked for $10,000. Woo! But I love it. So I really got to crush this. Here we go. But seriously, she's learned that. So we are the best role models. Modeling is our best teaching strategy. Okay, real estate, we say location, location, location. Modeling. So if we want our kids to advocate for themselves, we have to advocate for ourselves because they're watching us and listening so closely. I'll tell you what, I was doing lunch duty at Success Academy, and one day 2 girls were snickering at me. That happens a lot. But finally I said, what is it? They said, Mr. Katte, do you know you eat your peanut butter and banana sandwich the same way every day? I said, seriously? They said, yeah, if we did time elapse, it would disappear the exact same way every day. So I guess maybe I have OCD. I was just trying to ration the banana and the peanut butter. But my point is they watch and study you so closely. You can't fool them. So the more honest, the more vulnerable, the more courageous you are, the better it is. All right, let me back it up. I want to hit this point hard. But I cannot have this group of people and not honor this amazing educator, Ann Brewster. That was 2 years ago, I believe, 2 or 3 years ago. She was year 57, KAES conference. She just had back surgery at a conference in July. Ann Brewster, year 57. Then she made year 59, and now she retired. Wherever I speak, I talk about Ann Brewster because I'm a fan of hers. I'm a fan of hers. Whatever fandom you have for UK basketball or Louisville basketball, we need that for educators. We need that for our colleagues. We need it for ourselves, right? Those awards are amazing, and obviously those award winners deserved it. that there's not enough awards, there's not enough time in the day, there's not enough admin accolades, there's not enough kudos. You have to come in it from your own. You have to be a fan of yourself. It's not going to happen out there in enough. So you have to know your strengths and your gifts. My first challenge, I'm giving you homework. When you power down and power up, what are your top 3 things? If you don't know that, then that you have to get going and working on. Now, I don't want you to stop there. Every day I want you to add another one. Get to top 30. Get to top 300. Because what are you modeling to your students? Yeah, you're walking in. Maybe you don't know how to use Excel sheets. I don't really know how to use Excel sheets. But I'm walking in and I know what I bring. And I'm going to be more of that. And I know what my kids bring. And I want them to shine with those gifts. And I want them to bring more of that. So I'm going to model that positive self-talk. And it's not even talk. It's body language. If I'm walking in hunched over like I just got swallowed up, they know that. They feel that. My shoulders are back. I'm open. My eyes are making eye contact. I see them. I'm in the moment. I check in with them. That's important. Be a fan of your colleagues. Be a fan of yourself. Now, Mickey Mantle, he's this legendary baseball player, Yankees legend. On his plaque in Yankee Stadium, in the boldest letters, other than his name, it says a great teammate. A great teammate. What are you doing today to be a great teammate? For that to be your legacy. Hopefully you can answer that. And now I'm nudging you a little bit more. Okay? Not only are you going to give yourself more this year, you're going to focus on being a great teammate. Because we know collectively together we pull way more. It comes with some training like this and some chafing, but a little bit of a kind of uncomfortable, awkward, suddenly you're pulling together, you can do so much more. And the last thing related to that, I like to call it a cadence of collegiality, right? Accountability in schools has such a, okay? But yeah, you hold each other accountable, you hold yourself accountable. But a cadence of collegiality, I like the sound of that. It has a rhythm. Okay, tough love is still love. Like I'm checking on you because I care about you. So I want you to share your goals after today with somebody that's going to be honest with you and schedule a time to check on you for you to report your progress. If nobody's checking and there's no way to measure your progress, you're probably not going to do it. But if somebody is going to check on you and you have to report your progress, there's a good chance you're going to do it. So that's part of showing your ass. I need somebody to check on me and encourage me as I work on this. Okay, so that's another challenge for you. So I talked a little bit about the Be More You experience. What that is, and Ronnie and Katie, you didn't give me a drop dead time, and I will go and go and go. In fact, someday I'm going to give the world's longest keynote. It's only 90 hours, and you're all invited. You don't have to stay the whole time. You just come in and out. So you'll have to tell me the drop dead time because I'm going to keep just going and going until you kind of give me a warning. Now some of you are nervous because they didn't say a time. Be more you. So the secret is I actually wrote it for you. Educators. That is my mission and purpose. I'm here to help educators. We are taking our profession back, right? We are doing this. I want you guys to shine so brightly that when you're, you know what? I think sometimes educators work too hard and kids don't work hard enough. And the kids go skipping out the door, jumping on the buses and vans. They have so much energy. And the teachers dragging out the door. And by the way, how many of you carry a purse, carry a bag, carry a bin, carry a backpack? Like you carry all these things home. You even have a spot in your car, and then you have a spot in your home, and then your butt hits the chair, and my goodness, there's nothing left. And then you take all that stuff and put it back in your car. Like I know that, Brian. But my vision for you is this. Your kids are working so hard. They're doing some of the heavy lifting. They're so excited about connecting the learning to their lives and their futures. And you're just like an orchestra. You're just conducting it all. And then you go running home, skipping home. You're running through Walmart buying craft supplies, art supplies, because you have this second hobby, passion, interest. You are crushing it wherever. Somebody at Walmart is going to be like, it's going to be like when Harry met Sally. When Harry met Sally, you know that scene? Meg Ryan, I know this is our students watching. She's like, okay, well, in case they are, but you know that scene. And then Rob Reiner, the director, his mom making a cameo, she leans over and what does she say? I'll have what she's having. We need that. We need you in Walmart, just so passionate, so excited. People are like, what's the deal with him? What's the deal with her? Teacher, detention center, day treatment center, detention. What? I want to be like that. Are you being the walking advertisement our profession needs you to be? Are you? You're the best advertisement for future teachers. So you have to bring more of you, more of what sets your soul on fire. What are your passions, interests, and dreams? And where can that live in your school community? It can live there. I promise you it can. If your engagement goes up, your kids' engagement automatically goes up. One of my strategies is called dream chasing and dream enabling. That's powerful. If you're vulnerable and courageous and you put your dreams out there and you tell your kids what you want to do and what you want to be or what sets your soul on fire. In fact, let me start here. I saw Mr. Cruz won an award. It reminded me of one of my strategies called Tom Cruise It. I've been doing this for 7-8 years and my wife is like, he's not that cool anymore. He's kind of creepy actually, but I'm guessing he's kind of cool again because the Top Gun is kind of a hit. So I'm going to bring the Tom Cruise It strategy back. Remember A Few Good Men when he's walking around trying to get his brain firing and just really rocking and rolling? He's holding a baseball bat, right? I get that because I love baseball. And it just kind of brings out the best. What is an object that you can hold that just sort of recalibrates you? Put it on your desk, put it in your classroom. What is it? Okay, that's part of Tom Cruise It. The other is music. What is your walk-up song? What song can you walk into the school and just super motivated, ready to crush it? You're driving in the car like Jerry Maguire, right? We're free falling. And even if you're not feeling it, that music can inspire you. It can get you there. Or you can ask your students, what is your song? What's your walk-up song? What sets your soul on fire? And then the last Tom Cruise It, of course, is risky business, right? Dancing in your underwear for some of you, right? Just kind of dance like nobody's watching. But I say dance like everybody's watching, right? I come from the 80s. Some of you do too. Remember our boom boxes? Like the bigger, the badder. And by badder, I mean like good, like Michael Jackson. You know, like we had big boom boxes and we shared our music with the neighborhood. In fact, we did more than that. Not only did we share our music, we broke down cardboard boxes in our garage so that we could break dance. We could break dance and we could come in and we could teach you how to break dance. See, that world is leaving us. We're doing this in isolation. We got earbuds, we got a phone, we got these algorithms putting exactly what they want in front of us. But we're all craving social connection. Our brains are starved from oxytocin. We can't touch people. We can't connect. And we're all going here. So whether it's for real and you've got that, you know, say anything boombox moment with John Cusack and you're radiating, putting out there, maybe it's metaphorically, or maybe it's real. Maybe you can dance in your hallways, dance in your cafeterias, dance after school, whatever it is that sets you on fire, share it with your school community. For me, it's baseball. I love that at Success Academy, we have a little bit of gym time. Another thing that makes us special. Whose idea was it that middle school and high school kids don't need to move around? They don't need to exercise? We have more research about the benefits of exercise for brain health and managing stress and anxiety and increasing focus. But we don't have time for recess. I love walking and talking with my kids, going around the school building. We have time to play full court basketball. We have time to play catch because they know how much I love playing catch. They do it for me. See, I'm starting to show my ass. I'm like, all right, I'll play full court basketball, but let me teach you a few things here and there too. I love baseball. Well, one day I was wanting to play catch, and all my students that normally play catch with me were not there or were off doing something else. A new student who really hadn't said too much to anybody yet. Very, not the athletic type. She hadn't even participated in that break time because you can sit and just chill and hang out. I'm kind of a mess with my supplies. I've got anything you can imagine in these laundry baskets. She dug to the bottom, grabbed something that nobody had even touched before. It was the Velcro balls, those little circle things. She didn't say anything. She just brought me one, and she and I started playing catch. She did that for me. She saw me show my ass when I looked around, and I was like, see, we say so much with our tone, our style, our body language. We don't need words. We say it with our bodies. She saw the disappointment, and she went and did that for me. What are your recess moments? I used to be an elementary school principal for 9 years. My favorite part of that job was watching kids go out to recess like this. Yeah! They might find a stick and dig a hole and throw rocks at a tree. It's like, it really didn't matter. It was carefree timelessness. When's the last time you had carefree timelessness in your life? And when's the last time you had it in school? You deserve it. You take breaks. One of the principals I supported once really took to this principle of taking care of the relationships. She scheduled lunch breaks. She had lunch every Wednesday with a friend outside of the school community. And the fourth Wednesday, she had lunch just by herself to remind herself that that most important relationship is with herself. But what are some of the passions and interests and dreams that you can walk back into the school community? So, all right, I'm going to keep going. I still don't have a drop dead time, so I'm going to keep on going.
15
All right,
minutes.
so how much?
About 15 minutes.
15 minutes. All right, you got it. Well, then I know we've got a lot of administrators on here too. There's something I call golf caddy style leadership. Administrators, did you know that not everybody likes you all the time? It's a tough job. I know you get a lot of stakeholders to keep happy. But staff members working with those leaders, did you know they can't read minds yet? They're trying, they're reading books, they're going to PDs, they're trying, they want to read your mind. But if you show your ass a little more, and leaders, if you do a little bit more golf caddy style leadership, walk side by side and say, what is it you need? How do we need to communicate? Because everybody communicates differently. What is it that you need? Do you need new equipment? Do you need new training? Do you want me to get down and read putts with you? What kind of attaboy or attagirls do you need? Like, what do you need? We're all different. Trust me, most administrators I have met, they are craving this kind of information. How can I be this caddy side by side? Like, they actually like being in the trenches with you. Pull them in. All right. So, boy, there's so much unpacking. One thing I want to know is, what is the one thing for your overall self-care that if you did consistently this year, you think it would have the biggest bang for your buck? Could be something for your body. Maybe it's, nutrition. Maybe it's more sleep. Maybe it's 20 minutes of walking. Whatever it is, I want you to commit to it. But maybe it's something emotional. Maybe it's a key relationship you have to fix. Maybe you're struggling with your emotions. You got to face that and deal with it. Maybe it's just brain. The older we get, you want to be, sharper. So what are you doing? Remember, that novelty is one of the best things you can do for your brain. Anything new and different, traveling, a new language, music, art, that's good for your brain. But then spirit. So we're made up of mind, body, heart, and spirit. Heart is the emotion and relationship. Sometimes I do an exercise with whole staffs, and I do kind of a quick reflection sheet, and then we just kind of open up the data and look at it. Almost every staff member says they neglect the spirit the most. And regardless what your faith is, regardless of what your faith is, there's a spiritual dimension to us. And so maybe it's something that you can do to get in touch with your spirit, whether it's your faith, walking in nature, slowing down and being still and in silence, and just kind of trusting that guide to take you where you know you're destined to be. But whatever it is, I want this to be your Monday morning mind over mattress moment, right? Make a promise to yourself and keep it. What is it? If you set the alarm to sleep, that's okay, sleep. But if you set the alarm to walk and then you hit snooze, you're starting the day by breaking a promise to yourself. So that's one of the things you can report to your colleague. All right, there's the boombox. I'm going to jump ahead here. I got to share this butterfly effect story. All right, so this is a great book. It's called The Butterfly Effect, How Your Life Matters. There's some powerful social studies references in here. But basically, years ago, a scientist said one flap of a butterfly's wings can put into motion enough energy that could lead to an earthquake. People are like, no way, that's not possible. And then, it turns out it is. But our lives are the same way. So I want to back it up to my father-in-law. You heard me start the keynote, mention him. He's been one of my biggest supporters. He believes in me, sees my potential so much. And he says, get out there, share what you're doing with as many educators as you can, and tell them about Miss Lubins. And Miss Lubins was his teacher. Okay, right now he's almost 80 years old. And he was in the 2nd or 3rd grade. And he said, up until Miss Lubins, he had this recurring tape in his head that said, Merle, you have a garbage brain, you have a garbage brain, you have a garbage brain. Over and over and over again. Learning was so hard for him. His family life was so hard for him. School just did not work. And one day Miss Lubin said, Merle, what is going on here? And he said, just leave me alone, Miss Lubins. I have a garbage brain. She said, Merle, you do not have a garbage brain. He said, yeah, I've got a garbage brain. Just leave me alone. And she said, Merle, you are smart. You're smart. He said, no, there's no way. I'm not smart. I can't do this. I can't do that. She said, Merle, you are smart. You can't run and jump and play basketball and pole vault and play football like you do if you're not smart. You're smart. And it was just enough that he believed her. Now, I'd love to say, school clicked and it got easy. It didn't. He went into the Marines, and actually he came out of the Marines. He was working in a factory, and his older brother, saw he had the gift of relationships and sense of humor, and said, come on, Merle, I'm going to get you out of the factory. We're going to get you selling. Everybody loves you. You've got this great personality, and everybody just loves you. And he went on to become a very, very successful salesperson. Now, just a couple years ago, life got him, right? Just tough stuff, one after another. In fact, he was the Uber driver. You might have saw the Lexington Herald headlines a few years ago, who got beat up by 2 passengers, and they stole his car. They left him for dead. They almost drove over him. He just barely had enough strength to get out of the way. Then some family were facing health issues. He lost his sister-in-law, and he was just about ready to lose his brother. The same brother I was telling you pulled him out of the factory. He was sitting in our home. We have these Barnes & Noble chairs, just so we kind of sit and talk and sink in. We never want to leave. And I could see him just welling up with tears. Now, he's a Marine. He doesn't normally cry. And it was just a really unique, special kind of moment. I said, what's going on? He said, there's more to tell you about Miss Lubin. I said, what is it? She said, in addition to saying you're smart, she took the time to arrange a meeting for my parents and me to see about going to a different school. She said, your son is smart, but he does need help. A special school can help him. So they drove to Champaign, Illinois, and I see the tears welling up. He said, you know, and I didn't get into school. And it wasn't, it was because, probably because my parents couldn't do the transportation. Maybe they couldn't afford it. And I'm not crying for that reason. I'm crying because Miss Lubens did all of that for me. And she died just a couple weeks later. She worked up until that point. She was battling cancer and she died a young woman, but she never stopped that whole time trying to pour into her students, set up supports, get them into better places. And then she just passed away. Interestingly enough, they went to a high school reunion. There were more students like Merle who had the same story about Miss Lubens. So that's what you're doing. And actually, here he was 70 years later, drawing from that love and affirmation and attention and security. It was almost like a Mitch Albom, like the 5 people you want to meet in heaven kind of moment. And he said, I got to tell you about another woman. See, when he was successful, he sold chicken for Break Bush Chicken. They said, you can move wherever you want. This is your final chapter. Where do you want to move? He said, Kentucky. The nicest people I know live here in Kentucky, and I want to move there. So they moved to Frankfort, Kentucky. And so out sitting in those Barnes and Noble chairs, he said, now here's the moment that cemented that the nicest people in this country are right here in Kentucky. It was a Russell Springs Elementary School cafeteria manager. He comes in one day selling food, and she says, Merle, just sit down right here. Whatever you're selling, I'm gonna buy, don't you worry about it. Right now, today, I just want you to enjoy these pinto beans I've been working on. He said, I needed to sit down. I needed that moment. I needed that connection. And those were the best things I'd ever tasted. A connection, an experience, a relationship, love that you can draw from 70, 30 years later. That woman and her pinto beans are the reason I'm talking to you here today. My dad, I wish we had more time. My dad completed suicide in 2009. I was seeing a grief counselor, and I remember the counselor saying, look, there's no right or wrong way to grieve. Just don't do anything big like quit your job or move. Well, you know, when you tell kids don't do this, like even my little ones, kindergartners, they're doing bubbles and tails. If you're doing perfect bubbles and tails and then a volunteer comes in and says, don't hit, you're basically advertising hit. You're going to see a little one all of a sudden out of nowhere be like, boom. Don't move, don't quit your job. I moved, quit my job, wanted to be by Merle, who's like a father to me. That butterfly effect. Now, same thing. He sees my potential in this work. He's one of my biggest fans, kicking me out there saying, do this. Teachers need you. They need you. They need to know that those are the moments that not only change lives, they change generations of families. Miss Lubin said, you don't have a garbage brain. And that was just enough. Not only did it change his life, it changed his family, it's changing my lives. And now I'm out here helping you. You have no idea what 7 seconds can put into motion. You never know what sinks in when a kid sees, feels, believes something in him or herself, and suddenly it goes. That's what I call triple crown potential. And I also want to make sure you recognize this, because I know you know this in the work you do. But when you come at it both ways, we're like, there's just this unlimited potential inside each person, something unique, powerful for each individual. They need to draw it out and they need to shine. But you also come at it like you have no idea what they're going to help. See, this is what I'm talking about. Here I'm telling you something you already know, but the other schools don't know this. We're all at risk all the time. These horses, they're unbelievable. Their athleticism and the power they can have, but at any given moment, they can break a leg, get an infection, and they're not the same. We're no different. When you come at people with those two extremes, right? This unlimited potential. You have no idea what can come out of there, and you're just protecting it, harnessing it, growing it, celebrating, affirming it, naming it. But you also realize that every moment matters. You don't know if you're going to come back the same the next day. I have a young colleague, a couple years ago, endured a stroke. He's not the same. If we all treat ourselves that way too, you know what's inside you, you know what you're capable of, but you also know that in a moment, our lives can change. We have too many examples of that. We have Western Kentucky, we have Eastern Kentucky right now. We have colleagues, we know accidents, things happen. I hope that today I've inspired you to get about the business of doing the most important things in your life with the most important people. And if you didn't already know, every moment matters. Every moment matters. And I want you to go into it. And it doesn't have to be all shiny and award-winning and Instagram icon and Pinterest perfecty. It doesn't. It just has to be real and honest and vulnerable. See, I used to go into this work thinking, all right, whatever Eric Jensen is to the brains in schools, that's what I want to be with the human spirit. And I used to say, there's no measure for the human spirit. So maybe that's why we don't talk about it and celebrate it and name it and give ratings and attach it to federal funding, but you can measure it. Ask your kids, how many adults know you and your dreams? How many adults believe in you? How many adults do you have in your life right now that you can go to if you need them? Start the year. If it's zero, it's zero. But then ask. I know it's not after a year with you because I've sat in these trainings. I've sat in these brainstorming, these planning. I've seen evidence. I see the award winners. That number goes up exponentially. So why are we afraid to devote more time and resources and planning and celebrating the spirit in our school, the spirit of you, the spirit of your colleagues, the spirit of your students? And your kids can take this home and they can change the trajectory of that home environment, which then changes what comes back. So I am running out of time. In addition to this book, oh, by the way, I think they're sharing a QR code or a link. If you go to my website with that link, just share your email and it should give you a free ebook of this. I then believe if you're interested, you can be prompted to something else. I've created 10, I call them SEL plus videos, and I made them for like 6th through 12th graders. And with the videos, each one comes with a teacher facilitation guide. So if this is your sweet spot, it's gonna challenge you to go even farther. If this isn't so much, that's hard for me, it's still gonna work and your kids are going to lead it. It's gonna be great culture building in your classroom. They'll take it home, it'll come back, it'll infuse the whole school. But there's 10 videos related to what's happening in this book and the facilitation guide. They support the CASEL standards. There's one on suicide. There is, I would love for you to experience it. And then if you're interested after that one, just call me. We'll talk about what the Be More You experience looks like in your program or your school. And honestly, it's for you too. So when I do Ignite #LoveInSchools work, and then I complement it with the Be More You experience with students, it's really powerful because relationships are two-sided. It's not just your job to make it happen. It's two-sided. So if we can make our students a little bit more relationship ready, we give you a few more tools for you to come at it, we're gonna increase our chances of those 7 seconds butterfly effect moments that change lives in the future generations of lives. I believe I'm out of time. Those were my 15 minutes. Please know I am in it with you. Please call me, email me. We can do social media. I'm on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, but I'd just rather pick up the phone. Anytime, call me. We'll put our heads together. None of these are canned programs. It's just kind of tailor-made for you to meet the needs of you and your students or your school's programs, and we build it together. It's not the same. So I'm giving you all an air hug. Thank you for joining me virtually. I can't wait to see you guys in other capacities someday soon.
Thank you, Joel. Gosh, how do you have this much energy? I will never understand. We're just watching you and participating with you and following along, and we are worn out. So I love it.
So sad, though.
No,
honestly,
it's
I have
fantastic.
90 hours. You could probably see when you're like there's so much more I want to give, like so much more.
Well, you can tell. We appreciate it so much. You have great resources and great energy. Thank you for sharing your passion with us. And it's so clear of how much you love what you do and how much you love your students, and that we can really, when you say ignite love in schools, that's really what it's about. It's like taking and modeling that love that you have, that passion for what you do and your kids, and inspiring other people here to to have that same level of passion and to go into every day in our classrooms, knowing that we can do all of this for our kids and more. So it's really powerful stuff, and we appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here with us.
Awesome. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely our pleasure. And everybody who is watching and participating, Joel, he's not just saying reach out to him and then he'll never respond. That's who he is. If you reach out to him, you go to his email, you go to his link on there. He's going to partner with you. He's fantastic about doing that kind of work. So please do that. Also, over in the chat function, you'll see that you have an evaluation for today. You have a link to Joel's website, so you can get the ebook. You can get a copy of that, as well as the guides to some of those class and instructional guides that he has.